A minute late. I'm doing everything really slow today. Holy smokes, my spine is in pain. Hey everybody, welcome to Houston a Problem, show 189. What? It's Friday. It was a deep red day, unless you're Bed Bath & Beyond, and that's about it. Everyone else just... Yeah. I have nothing really to talk about other than just red, red, red. I wish I had money for spy puts and gobble that up. Yeah, so it's daytime. So guess what? Shaboink. Hey, there we go. All right, turn that sucker off. Okay, so might as well just start going to the questions because I'm on muscle relaxers, so let's see what happens. Okay. Pankaj Kumar, Houston, hope you're okay. Revlon tells everyone its equity is worthless, and I believe some bankruptcy discussion going on. Would it squeeze if bankruptcy is approved? It's still incredibly shorted. There's only a 5 million float. There is a fight going on because Citibank accidentally gave Revlon $900 million, and they weren't supposed to. Like, no deal had been signed, but they're like, here's $900 million. Wait, give it back. And Revlon's like, no. So there's like a legal battle going on over that. People are starting to wear masks less, which means they're buying more makeup, and makeup sales are starting to go up. So they may have to restructure and declare bankruptcy. But in reality, at the current price, they could probably sell stock and not have to declare bankruptcy. Because there's only like, what, 55 million shares? What is the... I want to go there. Revlon Incorporated. How many we got here? Show me. Price book. Don't give me that crap. I want to know. Market cap 352. I just can do the math if they won't show me the. One sec. Clear 352 28888 divided by, what was it today, 649. Okay, so there's 54 million shares, 54-ish million shares, and 5 million of those are on the float. They could easily sell more shares at market at $6.50 down to $5, make themselves a few $100 million, and avoid bankruptcy if they wanted to. But my guess is the owner might be waiting for a squeeze or something. Because seriously, there's only 5 million shares in the float out of those 54 million shares. It is tightly held, a lot of insiders, and I think it's still pop. But, you know, I can't get inside their heads because insiders don't want to talk about it. So here we are. Mr. Smith, why does it rain? Because it's God ordained it in Genesis. Squeeze these nuts. Guitar stuff. Houston, did the market crash to last start? We could be getting there. I mean, if the market's still doing this at next Friday, we might see some really crazy stuff start to happen on the 2nd. Got 1 week. And on the 1st, the ISDA makes everyone post margin. On the 2nd, the T plus 13s for all those 1.4 billion, 1.2 billion, however many it was, Bed Bath & Beyond shares FTDs start to come due. I don't know if there's really about 1.4 billion FTDs, but a lot of shares traded that probably shouldn't have been allowed to trade because they didn't exist that week, and it being on thresholds list is going to mean I think we're going to see some explosion of Bed Bath & Beyond starting next Friday. And on the 31st, Bed Bath & Beyond makes their big announcement as to what they're doing, how they're restructuring. If they're selling baby, what's happening. So the 31st is Wednesday? Yeah, because Tuesday's the 30th. That's Cherry Tuesday. Wednesday's 31st, yeah. Guitar stuff. Houston, I plan to buy a place in Seattle post-squeeze, but for the purpose of the Mariners games. But all the talk about the Cascadia subduction zone in recent episodes sent me down a deep rabbit hole. Well, I mean, think about it this way. Everywhere is going to have natural disasters. You can get hurricanes in one place, tornadoes in another, heat waves, droughts in others. And we just happen to have earthquakes every 300 years. That's overdue. So, if you do buy a place in Seattle, make sure it's a modern place that's designed for shear strength. So if everything goes jiggly, it stays upright. Ben T. Houston, what's your take on Jack Harding being made the new chairman of the board? Someone made a new chairman? I know nothing about Jack Harding. Oh, metamaterials. Okay. I know nothing. But if it has to do with metamaterials, I'm going to try and step back. I'll talk a little bit about MMTLP, but I'm trying not to talk about metamaterials if I can. Okay. Curious one, will T plus 90 have any effect on GME since technically we never got a stock split via dividend? Also, why hasn't GME taken any legal action yet? Bad look for future shareholders. It might take some time for them to take legal action if they're going to do that. Or they can just recall their shares. But yeah, I don't think... We were all expecting the T plus 90 to take effect for GameStop via their splividend, as people call it. But then the DTCC basically committed securities fraud and told the brokers to process it as a forward split and not as a dividend, which does not set a clock on it all. It does result in a QSIP change, which should have some effects, but it's not the you owe us our payment in lieu for all these new shares that are out there. And that's one thing. Ow. Oh, dude, my back. Holy shit. That's some of those things we're looking forward to. So maybe if that T90 date passes, that's when GameStop goes, give us those shares back. But I mean, we can speculate all day long, but in the end, we just have to sit here and twiddle our thumbs and wait. And that's what we gotta do, because again, we are the powerless few, or powerless many, I guess it technically is, where we have one strategy. It's buy and hold. You buy, you hold, you sit there, and you twiddle your thumbs. And maybe every once in a while, you're able to do some day trade swings with options and get a little more cash and buy some more shares, so you can buy and hold some more. But you're just twiddling your thumbs, waiting for the shit to fan. And today was one of those shit the fan type days. All week was pretty red. Today was particularly red. Yeah, down 1,000 points today, 3%. That is just bonkers. All the week, down 1,300. We had a brief green day yesterday, but it was pretty down and flat most of the week. So, yeah, down almost 4% in the week. That's pretty rough. I really wish I'd had extra cash to get some SPY puts last Friday. That would have been great. I bet SPY is going 380 below. That could have netted $5,000 if I got a SPY put. Oh well. C'est la vie. Curious one, you have an awesome day too. First name, last name. Houston, what was the last element discovered and when, and possibly there are more to discover? Oh shit. Was it like Californium or something? Oh, no. Californium is before. We got Nihonium, Moscovium, Tennesseeine, and Oregonison. Oregonison. Okay, those are 113, 115, 117, 118. they're looking for other elements, and they're hoping there's like some level of stability. And how they make elements, you guys aren't chemistry whizzes or anything, is the heaviest natural element is uranium. That's made inside of the collisions of like black holes or supernovas. So supernovas explode, so much energy gets produced, they can actually force enough heavy elements to combine to form uranium. Anything beyond that, they are bombarding with neutron guns or proton guns, basically shooting particles into it, trying to get it to stick inside the nucleus, and then it grows into a larger element. And all of them are incredibly unstable. They decay sometimes in nanoseconds. So there's hope that somewhere along the periodic table they start hitting it with enough neutrons and protons that they've managed to get a stable element that doesn't have like a nanosecond radioactive decay rate and can last for a long time. Then they can, I don't know, make really heavy fishing lures. I don't know what they're going to do with that stuff. But for most part, all the man-made elements are extremely... Plutonium's man-made. That's, all that stuff is heavy. Chris Smith, happy birthday, Houston. Still hot as a mug in Oklahoma City. What's your opinion on the OCC pulling options chain? Plus, what's your opinion on the next bridge S1 getting done? MMTLP has me spinning. Me too. I'm waiting. It's been almost 45 days since they filed their S1. It looks like all the other S1s have gone through the approval process, and ours is just happens to be the last one called. I don't know. OCC pulling the options chain. I think the OCC realized that an options chain got created. It would open up lawsuits for everybody because the T+0 stock, which means when it's traded, it must be cleared that day. Like the buyer of the money, the seller with the stock, it must clear that day, and it can't be synthetic, and it can't be an IOU, and it can't have an FTD attached to it. And options chains, the way they are designed right now, rely heavily upon selling options that do not exist, or for shares that don't exist. So you're selling option 3 months down the road for 100 shares at, I don't know, $10 is a strike price. The stock isn't close to $10, so you write that option thinking the entire time, like, I will never have to make good on this thing. I'm going to collect that $700 cash for this option, and it's going to be mine. And then the price is never going to get there, so I'm not going to bother backing it up with any shares. And you can't do that on a T+0 stock. It does not allow for you to create options that don't have shares already locked into it. So that's why the OCC, I think, was looking at all these brokers creating options chains all of a sudden. They're like, oh shit, no. You guys are going to die if you start doing this. And I think that's the big reason. First name, last name. Houston, is New Jersey any good for gold flake prospecting with a pan or portable sluice box? Where would good spots to start? Rivers, beaches, lakes. You can check the beaches, but the beach sands are really thick from that continental shelf. So they've got, like 300 million years of sand that built up those beaches. I would look northwestern New Jersey, where like the Delaware water gap is, river gap, water gap, whatever you want to call it, and in the mountains there. If there is gold, it's probably going to be really, really tiny flower gold, just because so much of that rock is metamorphic, which means everything gets baked all over again. And I don't know if the layers that are there would have been the layers that had quartz veins come through them from ancient hot springs and fault zones. So, because the rocks in New Jersey, most of them are ancient oceanic rocks that are like 1 billion years old, those mountains. And they are ocean floor that when the continents smashed together and made like Pangea, this huge mountain range that was as tall as the Himalayas was formed. And then a big split happened down where they connected, and they split right back apart again. So these 30,000 foot tall mountains eroded and eroded and eroded and eroded and eroded and eroded. So all the good stuff may have eroded out, the gold-wise, a long time ago. But where there are mountains, there's fractures, and where there are fractures, there's intrusive water, and where there's intrusive water, there's hot springs, and where there's hot springs, there's gold flakes. So can't hurt to try. I mean, there are other spots in the Appalachians that have lots of gold. North Carolina, Georgia, upstate New York, Maine. You can find lots of gold in those in them Nar Hills. So, I mean, something to do. You'll probably find, if anything, you'll probably find cool garnets, maybe even like little sapphires and things like that. So, you know, those always shake out in a sluice box. Chris Smith also asked, plus, what do you think about them saying that all apes are distributed are phantom? How can you even start an options chain when everybody hasn't even gotten these shares? Yeah, that's another thing, is that you can't. I don't think the powers that be got enough real shares to start an option chain anyway. Rollink's excited. It's a daytime show. First name, last name, Houston. Are you going to wear awesome shirts for the TV show as well? Hell yeah. Yeah. That's what I do, baby. James Danker. What? Houston show, while I have time off, I can have this as a live show? Yes, please. Welcome, James. Sorry, it's cloudy, and it's like 65 degrees outside, and the office is a perfect temperature right now. So, I can do a daytime show. Josh, Jimmy, did you guys know the Eye of Africa equals Lost City of Atlantis? No, I didn't know that. Okay, soapbox operator does have a location for us to go to, though. Somewhere in the southwest, it appears. Okay. Google. Oh. Wham. San Diego. Oh, taking us to the thing that, yep. That's what WeWild took us to the other day. It's the horrible barracks that should not have been built that way. That architect should be hunted down. He knew exactly what he was doing when he was looking at the blueprints of that thing. I should remember that one, so I'm going to go that one in the future. Oh, fuck. They're tying the record for me today. There's the after dark one was left on. I'm going to turn that off. Now it's off. Almost made it 6 days. Tying the record. Okay. It's okay. Whew. Center the chi. We're cool. We're fine. Soapbox. You made it. You did it. Everyone's happy. Ow. Oh, God. My dude. My back is killing me. Okay. John Donson, Houston. Series another 6 months. Elaborate and how low could commercial property go and crash? Really low. Yeah, probably about 5-6 months. They are finished most of their bankruptcy, like ombudsman hearings. Now they're in the like counting and distributing assets to those who own the debts. And after that, then it's sell off at what the remaining assets and pay the shareholders a special dividend, and then Sears, I guess, ceases to exist. But how low could commercial property go in a crash? In this particular crash, really, really low. We already have like millions and millions and millions of square feet of office space that's going unused. And people aren't renewing leases because they're like, well, if we don't have to pay for the office space, we won't, because we can make everyone work at home. And then you have this crazy... I watched a video. I wish I remember what it was. Someone sent me it yesterday. It's a couple months old, and this guy was doing an investigation into the spec warehouse market and how during COVID, online ordering just shot through the roof because people were like, well, I can't go anywhere. I'm just going to buy stuff online. And so there was a mad boom to grow the number of warehouses around the country for distribution and storage of goods and things. And the supply chain broke down, so you wanted to have a warehouse of stuff because you couldn't rely on like on-demand orders before even all sorts of vendors, because ships are stuck sitting waiting to get in the port of Los Angeles. Stuff wasn't getting made, whatever. But since then, they built too many warehouses. And, Amazon had plans for 10 million more square feet of warehouses, and they quietly went, we're going to stop construction on all those. But in a lot of industrial areas outside of major urban areas, they built just so many warehouses. Let's see if we can find one of these little warehouse districts on the map here, because the guy was in Phoenix, I believe. There's Phoenix. So the warehouse areas are all out in the desert. There's the airport there. Those are houses. Where are you, warehouse districts? Sorry, one sec. You might as well watch me as I scroll looking for where this guy was. Here we go. So there's Phoenix Deer Valley Airport. You can see the airport there. It's not a very big airport, but this huge warehouse districts that are all around here, a lot of that was built recently, and you can get further out. You can see like little commercial warehouse districts, the edge of all these developments, because they're all built on spec. And let's see here. Let's find some more. Sun City. Here's some more big warehouses. A lot of these places were built on spec, hoping that some online retailer would come in and go, oh, we need another 350,000 square feet of warehouse space. Here's your $300,000 a month. And the developer goes, woohoo! But now these things might stay empty for 3 to 5 years. Construction is halting on warehouses everywhere right now. As people's budgets tighten, they're not doing as many online orders. And since everything's opening up, online orders are dropping. What was that guy's name? I have to look and find out who he was. But he's talking about how, Amazon had 4% growth of their business. But all that growth was in ad sales and AWS. Their online sales represented a huge loss. Big dog? No big dog. And this is like 2020 and 2021. They had like 25 and 30% growth in their online sales business. But now people want to go out and they want to do things and they want to do stuff in person and touch things because they've been locked in their homes for 2 years. And online sales are just not keeping pace. So we're going to see giant warehouses sit empty for a long, long time. The rent on one of these places, expect $1 a square foot, right? So $300,000 a month to keep a warehouse like that rented. Now it's going to sit empty, and the developer is going to face bankruptcy because they aren't going to be able to pay their vendors and back bills and everything, and they've got all sorts of other spec projects that were started and land they cleared, and they just aren't going to be able to keep up. And so we're going to have a lot of construction companies go out of business that were building on spec, a lot of real estate developers that were going to go out of business because they were also building on spec. And then you got the commercial, like white-collar office towers are going to start selling cheap because the owners of those buildings are not going to be able to keep up on mortgage payments. Because all these buildings, they sell for $1 billion. A 50-story office tower sells for $1 billion. And you're expecting, $100,000 a month in rent per floor for all 50 floors. So you want $50 million a month in rent from your leaseholders, and you're paying, $40 million a month on a mortgage, right? So you get that $10 million window. Well, if your building's 50% empty, you're making $25 million a month, and you're hemorrhaging $15 million a month on the mortgage for it. So there's going to be a lot of fire sales and probably a lot of conversions of commercial units into residential units, or perhaps leasing huge chunks to hotels, so that 10 floors of a building are a hotel, things like that. I think commercial property can go really low, especially industrial and warehouse property. Next year might be the time for you to live your dreams in a warehouse. I would love to live in a warehouse. Just throw a mobile home inside of it and just have 300,000 square feet to hit golf balls and do Brodies in a car. But it's gonna go low. It's gonna go very low. Well, people asking why it rains. Okay. Sabboy Incorporated. Thoughts on buying how to find good stocks through value investing, since that's how DFV originally discovered GME as a good investment. I mean, he was looking at like how much in sales does this company make? What little changes can they do to become a big bad mamma jamma again? And like how low is their market cap? Remember, GameStop was doing $6 billion, $5.5–6 billion a year in sales, and their entire market cap was $200 million. So any tweak to shave off costs from a company like that results in profit, and once you have profit, that stock goes through the roof. And that's what I think what DFV was looking at. So, I mean, if you want to spend all day scouring, I'm sure you'll find one. CJ Johnson, Happy Not Dead Day. Thank you. Those who don't know, this is the 7th anniversary of my not dying in a really heinous rollover accident. Talked about it before. I should be dead. The roof was like, and I was unhurt somehow. Well, hurt a little bit. Had some glass in me and seatbelt burned and pulled my trap muscles trying to hold on the steering wheel. But I should be dead, and I'm not. Woo! Okay. Also, no photos of a mountain lion at Charleston Idaho Hotel. I didn't get the picture of the mountain lion. I basically saw its butt as it ran away from the ghost hotel that I was in. So I didn't have to like get my camera out in time to take it was gone by the time I got my camera out. They really don't want to like see anything that isn't expected. And they was not expecting me. And how many degrees do you have? I have 5 working on 6. Hey Houston, did you see the movement in JZ today? Is that the other Hong Kong stock that just appeared? No. I want not JZ the rapper, JZ the stock. Give me... Oh, you guys suck so much. Can I go back there? There we go. We'll do JZ. Oops, that's KZ. That's not what I want to do. I can't type. Oh, whoa, okay. So it went from... Where were we? $5 to 152, back down to 18. Dang, son. That's what it opened at. It's another one of those crazy Hong Kong stocks. I think these Chinese dudes are figuring out how to game the system and net themselves a lot of money right off the bat. And they just do an IPO. Their partners never get the shares, but they pre-sell them, and all of a sudden they squeeze them day one. And they're just doing that, and they're making billions. That's what Meagle and the HKD and the NVTA. I can't remember all the other ones that have happened. But they like squeeze instantly to hundreds or thousands of dollars. Yeah. It was up $150 in 1 hour. 1 hour. 5 to 153. And then by the end of the day, back down to 18. Man. I need like some notification for when these Hong Kong stocks are going to appear. Someone tell me. Zach Trenton. When do you foresee the market finish pricing in the inflation news from the Fed? Here's what I think the market has learned to do. is that they leak that the inflation news is going to be really bad. And everyone goes, oh no, it's going to be really bad this month. And then when the news comes out, even if the news is still bad, it's not really bad. So last month, all these rumors about inflation being at 10.2% and a leaked document showing it's 10.2%, and everyone went, oh shit, and the market was like quivering. And then it came out at 8.1 or whatever, which is lower than the fear. And everyone's like, oh, spending spree, inflation isn't that bad anymore. And I think that's how they're combating it. So I wouldn't doubt if next month, before the numbers come out, the CPI comes out, we see another leaked doc saying inflation jumped to 9%. Everyone starts going, oh no. And then when inflation comes in at 7.8 or 8%, everyone celebrates and the market's green for a day. And that's kind of, I think, what they're working on. Mario Valdez, Houston, I've been home since Tuesday, sick with COVID. The night sweats are the worst. What did you do to feel better? I just slept. I slept and watched Star Trek. Just sat in my room, watched Star Trek on a tablet, and then fell asleep every once in a while. I woke up and watched some more Star Trek. That's all you can do, man. That and get the Paxlovid. Paxlovid helps. My little dog, yes. Chad Clifford Houston, happy birthday. Price targets for GME, or do you think they'll get out of paying us? No, they're not going to get out of paying us. They're going to pay us eventually. But a lot when the time comes. Right now, they're going to try and hammer it down all week. I think Jamie was right. He was saying that price target's probably like $29 for GameStop before we get another big pickup, which I think is, and DVS is probably at work in Australia right now. I think it's the September 16th is the next Ortex. That will might see a little price action on GameStop, give us a little bump, which would be handy because hopefully either BBY is screamed by then, or it is in the process of screaming on the 16th. So, we can flop over to GME calls or whatever. Drew knew I should have bought SPY puts last week like I was going to, instead of bag holding at $26.5 before I sold it for a loss. Aw. And Wash sold the losses just to end up with another loss. That's when it compounds, man. That's what sucks. I had to just get rid of some September 2nd calls for Bed Bath & Beyond because there was, like, that day it might rocket, but I don't think it'll rocket to as high as those calls were. So I was like, get rid of them, get what I can, $100 here and there, and then about one Bed Bath & Beyond call with it that's more reasonable date. Wait. Scott Pollen, give me F-R-I-D. Oh, Friday. Okay. Duh. It's like FINRA? No, Friday. Previous sum was at $500 million paid to credit Rev creditors. That's what it was. Is that Citibank accidentally paid off their creditors? That's what it was. Without it actually being a loan. They just, oops, paid it off, and Revlon went, oh, that's your mistake. So 700 degrees in Seattle for today was a lie. Afraid so. I did not burst into flames today, nor did my home or my belongings. Cameron Mirza, did you see Gavin McInnes from Proud Boys live stream busted by FBI? Yeah. So he's like doing his little podcast, and then I'll do my Gavin McInnes impersonation. Huh? What? How'd you get in here? No, I can have you talk to my lawyer. Let's do this later. Can we do this later? I'm gonna talk to my lawyer. You can talk. No, we just have a conversation with my lawyer. And then it was 2 hours of just the camera looking at a chair. And that was Houston Theater. Okay. Yeah, Gavin McInnes apparently is in the pokey. Probably related to January 6th or something. Oops. Don't try to overthrow the government with violence and you won't end up being arrested. But yeah. Michael Blackwell, Houston, have you looked into Revlon? Yes. I have some Revlon calls, and I don't know. I think something's going to happen before November, so I got them for November 16th or whatever the monthlies are for November. And there we shall wait. I can't read your name because I think that's in Korean. I can't read Korean. Did you hear that Bed Bath & Beyond has over 100% short interest? Yeah, it was a 102 the other day. Oops. And don't understand why it keeps happening. Because short sellers only know how to short sell. That's their solution to everything. Like, oh, the price is going down, short sell it. Price is going up, short sell it. We are too short of something, short sell it some more. And they just do it over and over and over and over, and they don't know what else to do. They have one button, and that's short sell. That's the solution to everything. Short sell, short sell. Because it worked for them for 30 years, and they have not quite figured out how to adapt yet. Tons of fun. Is the 90-day business days or calendar days? Sorry if that's answered right. I think it's calendar days, but then I guess Trey was on his show saying it's business days. So I guess we'll see. I thought it was calendar days because it seemed to be calendar days for all the previous times dividends like this cause a stock to rocket. But Mario Valdez, have you ever been to Carlsbad Caverns? No, it is on the life list. I was dating a girl in New Mexico, and I was kind of like, oh, maybe we'll go to Carlsbad while we're dating. That's actually how I flipped my truck. Was I was driving down there. I was trying to drive as much as I could. So it was like 90% off-road between Seattle and Santa Fe to go visit her when I flipped my truck. And should have died, but I didn't because, phew. But yeah, I want to go to Carlsbad Cavern real bad. You work there? That's awesome. They're huge. They're supposed to be amazing. Joshua Houston would be a terrible president. He's too busy answering everyone's questions. You with a question. I had the press conference to go for hours. William Lobach, Houston, can you discuss what would happen if when Yosemite blows? I think you mean Yellowstone? What would that look like? How likely is it in our lifetimes? Not Yosemite, Yellowstone. Although near Yosemite is also another supervolcano complex known as Long Valley. Let's leave Phoenix. And we can take a quick look at Long Valley. Long Valley is Independence, Lone Pine, Big Pine, Bishop. Long Valley is up here. So, this Long Valley? One sec. Go. There it is. Okay, so it is up here. Just south of Mono Lake. So Long Valley caldera is basically a supervolcano that is this entire thing. There's hot springs, all sorts of crazy things in here. It's also a supervolcano. In the 1970s, it was having lots of movement, and the geologists were convinced that this sucker might blow. It's like, hey, the Long Valley Super Complex is making, there's a lot of magma intruding. We think this thing may erupt, and then it didn't. And then the real estate agents and real estate developers in this whole area, because there's, Mammoth ski resorts and all sorts of ski resorts around here. And they sued, saying that people were selling their homes or refusing to buy because the volcano was going to erupt. And they said the government cost them millions of dollars. And now the government's like kind of timid when it comes to calling out a volcanic eruption as a result of that. So anyway, we can head up to Yellowstone. Here, this corner of Wyoming is Yellowstone. And the Yellowstone Supervolcano Complex is basically this area here is the caldera. And when it erupts, it can do little eruptions here and there, but when it does what's its supervolcano event, that's when it erupts 1,000 kilometers or more of ash. And it's enough to black out the sky for a year or two, basically cause a winter in the northern hemisphere. It's 1,000 cubic kilometers of ash is 1,000 times more powerful than Mount St. Helens. And we can shoot over to Mount St. Helens real quick. And Mount St. Helens here. Can we do have a time? Can I go back in time here? They have one showing back in time and how much destruction happened here. They don't. I want to go back in time. There we go. 1985. There we are. Okay, so here's 1985. This is 5 years after the volcano erupted, and you can see that we've got like 300 square miles of just destruction. If you were anywhere in this zone, you would be dead. So the 63 people or so who died from the northern lateral blast of Mount St. Helens died in this area. This is 1/1000th as powerful as what Yellowstone would do. And you can see regrowth between those two. Lots of trees are regrowing this area. Spirit Lake pretty much reformed and so on. It doesn't look, 40 years later, there's a lot of growth, and it seems to be coming back just strong. Now, the Yellowstone caldera erupting basically covered, it's looking at 30 to 100 meters of ash throughout Wyoming, maybe 10 to 20 meters of ash throughout Nebraska and Kansas and Colorado. But there's 1 meter ash fall in an area that is basically about 65% of the continental U.S. You can find Yellowstone ash in almost every state east of Yellowstone, south and east of Yellowstone. And that's, once every 600,000 to a million years, you get an eruption like that. It's been about 600,000 years since the last eruption of the Yellowstone supervolcano. The caldera changes throughout time. So you can look at the shape of Idaho here. See this long valley? This was where the Yellowstone supervolcano was previously. Because the supervolcano is a hot spot that's in one spot in the mantle, and the continent is moving over it. So it erupts, and then the continent moves some more, and it erupts there, and it moves some more, and it erupts there, and so on. So it keeps erupting in the same spot as the continent moves. And this is what was responsible for all the flood basalts that filled in eastern Washington, eastern Oregon. One of the largest flood basalts in the world are in this area. And for millions of years, it just was like right in the edge of the ocean, just pumping out lava here and there, just lava, 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 lava. And then eventually got stuck under more and more and more continental rock as the continent moved forward. So that basalt magma that wanted to get out so freely started having to go through this really thick continental rock. And continental rock likes to trap a lot of water. It has a lower melting points, and as a result, it's more viscous and thick. So rather than getting like free-flowing oozes of basalt, you get these like pent-up aggression, once every million year explosive events that just kill everything in its path. If a supervolcano such as Yellowstone, Long Valley, and go to Toba or Tambur, I always get them backwards, in Sumatra, can't remember where all of them are, Naples, the supervolcano complex around Naples, which is where Mount Vesuvius is. So there's Mount Vesuvius, but this whole area here in Naples, this is all the caldera of a supervolcano. You've got all sorts of little volcanoes and cinder cones and stuff that pop up all through here, and little pit craters that are these pothole lakes. But this is a supervolcano, and Mount Vesuvius is just a pimple on the supervolcano. So there's a chance that in the next million years, the Naples super complex erupts and sends 1 million Neapolitans into space. But if one of those supervolcanoes in the northern hemisphere erupts, hop on a plane, go to the southern hemisphere for a couple of years, because it's going to be really cold and miserable in the north. Really cold and miserable. Vanilla Gorilla. Houston, you always show me something new to me. Thanks for that. Buy almost a Big Mac. Well, thank you. Much appreciated. Okay. Oh, and how likely is it in our lifetimes? Not particularly likely. Because our lifetimes are short. They're like 80 years. And the give or take on a supervolcano erupting could be like 400,000 years. So the odds... Don't puke, big dog. Please don't do that. Okay, just making scary noises. The odds of it happening in our lifetimes are minuscule because, you know, what's 80 and 400,000? Right? 1 in 20,000 odds it happens in our lifetime? Something like that. Right, big dog? Oh, yeah. Scratchy ears. Okay. Jay Wright, Houston. For the first time ever, I like your shirt. Congratulations. I was like, this is a boring shirt today. We'll wear it. Could change the late night and do campaign head. Corn harvest season's coming. Okay, all right. Let's see where that goes, skeleton. Pacific Northwest Texan. Dude, you need to go to AMC Kent Station tonight, 7 p.m. for the Godzilla vs. Kong freebie. I am not going to make it. Seriously, like, getting out of this chair is like a 2-minute process. My back is in so much pain. Actually, it's not a 2-minute process. I just did it a second ago, but it hurts. I don't want to be stuck in Kent. Right, big dog? Right. Yeah, big dog's like, I don't want you to ever leave me. I want to stare at you all day long. Hoshi Gaming. With monkeypox going rampant, would you deem it wise for me to go to rock climbing? I wouldn't be able to wear gloves, so I don't know. I'm bored at home. You're fine going rock climbing. Monkeypox is usually skin-to-skin contact, or somebody left a whole bunch of that viral load onto like a surface that you're licking and touching and rubbing open sores on. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. Moki123G, have you seen Bunny the Talking Dog? Yeah. Bunny is a Catahoula like monkey, and they're in Seattle. Right, big dog? Yeah. And the dog, I love when the dog has as existential dread. It's like, what is life? And the person's like, I don't know. Bunny's like, sad. Stares off into space. Scott Paul in Houston, tell us about No Labs. Don't know if it'll be much different than what we talked about last time. They have like a super tricorder device that can tell you the contents of anything. And their first big product is going to be a glucose monitor, because there's so many diabetic people in the United States. They think they can get health insurance companies to pay a subscription fee for the glucose monitor, non-invasive glucose monitor, and it will make them $30 to $50 billion a year. That's not too shabby. They'll be a $100 billion company if that's the case. And then they can start spreading into other fields with their tech, with that cash. And I think it's been pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. Pre-COVID, I was going to go to University of South Queensland. Well, go to basically 1 month a year, but do a PhD dissertation through them. Work with No Labs for identifying mineral deposits. Basically pointing this device at rocks and then telling like how much of what is inside the rocks. And then COVID hit, and right, big dog. Yeah, you loved it though, because everyone was home. You got to like scream and yell at people all day. It was wonderful. Chris Thompson, Boss Blunts wants to come on the show. I'll come on Boss's show. Marcel, hit me up. We'll do it. Vanilla Gorilla, holy smokes, I just realized there's a huge price difference between butter and margarine. What is the price difference right now? I don't know, I buy both so infrequently that I don't think I know what the price was last time I bought a box of butter. William Lobach, sorry. Second question, feeling guilty. Greedy, sorry. Can you give us a crash course on how to start hunting precious gems from zero knowledge, just wherever we are, any kind? What do we need? Okay. Big dog. Easiest method is to do what gold miners do, and that's go to a stream. Go to the mountains, go to a stream, and literally dig in the sands of a sandbar or like behind a big rock. See what you get, and you'll probably get little quartz crystals if you don't also get gold. Garnets, sapphires, maybe diamonds also are heavy and will concentrate in loads like that. But the easiest thing to do is literally get like a gem trails book or rock hounding book. So like, here's a gem trails book, and here's a rock hounding book. They're, usually have maybe 100, 150 locations for each state that they're in, that they cover. And they, if you're lucky, they sometimes do really good jobs kind of describing the geology. Or you can do like a roadside geology book, like this roadside geology of Washington, and it tells you like all over the state how to get to certain spots, see different formations, what they look like, what to look for, and lots of cool maps and pictures of how like the land got formed. These are really good, and those are probably the books to start with. The rock hounding books will tell you how to get the stones. Like if you are going to take a little rock hammer and chip away, how to get them out. So you want a shovel, you want a pickaxe, you want a pry bar, like a big long 6-foot hardened steel bar that can help pry things open. Little crowbars help as well. You want a pan, a sluice box, and buckets. And that's your starter kit. Maybe some classifiers. You can just go to Goodwill and get some colanders if need be. But you can buy classifiers from mine shops that have like 1/2-inch grate, 1/4-inch, 1/8 inch, 32nd, so on down to like, getting just silt through the material if you're going for like flour gold and things. But go to streams. I mean, every rock formation usually has a crystal of some kind that comes out of it. Even if you're in a place that has sort of geologically boring rocks like Hawaii, you'll still get peridot or olivine, as the scientific term for it, which is a semi-precious gemstone. You can get decent-sized olivines or peridots in Hawaii. The Green Sands Beach on the south end of the Hawaiian Big Island is all peridot. It's grain-sized peridot, so it makes a green sand beach, but it's all gemstones. You are sitting on a pile of gemstones when you go to that beach. So just look. They're everywhere. All over the place. Dylan Miller, RC needs to start doing cryptic tweets again. I agree. I think he's got to be like mum's the word until whenever this announcement happens with Bed Bath & Beyond. So he's not going to be doing anything for a little while. Miggy Smalls. What you got for me, Miggy? Shaboink? What city are we in? I wasn't even really paying attention. We are in a park in a city. Looks like an observatory. Where are you? You're a hill. You got something there. Somewhere in Europe, we got a spiky alien thing with some blurred out people standing next to it. What city am I in? I wasn't really paying attention at all. We left Italy. We went north. Are we in like Budapest? Where are we? Exit Street View. We are in Nazi Germany. Humboldt. Oh, in Berlin. Okay, Humboldt. Ah, so where is this thing in Berlin? Is this Gonky Park or something? Got a pool. I'm not sure what the spiky thing is, but it's on a little knoll here next to some train tracks. It's a cool garden there. Where am I, Miggy? What am I doing here? What's happening? What's happening? Why am I there? Explain it to me. It's a spiky Star Trek looking thing. That's all I know. Jerry Diamond, whistleblower at Twitter helping Elon. I think that's exactly what he's doing. It sounds like he was responsible for a lot of things at Twitter and wasn't doing it, so they fired him. And now he's like, look, all these things that didn't get done at Twitter. And And the response of the Twitter CEO was like, dude, that was your job. You were the one supposed to take care of that stuff. So, I don't know if it will actually help Elon in his Chancery Court, because the Chancery Court doesn't look at that stuff. The Chancery Court just looks at the contract and says, okay, you waived due diligence. You said you're going to buy it. So, buy it. That's what it's going to say. Oh, the butcher's here. Yeah. There you are, Marcel. You are here. Let's send me a DM. Let's do something, and we'll chit chat. I'm an hour behind, so Marcel, like, hello. He just reset again. There we go. All right, there's Marcel. Anna Rulnick, Houston, since you're on muscle relaxers, please say anathema, anti-disestablishment and tyrannism, ignominious, Flochinacean philippification, sesquipedalian, synecdoche, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Flock in Nasin philippification. That one. ¿Por qué no las BBBY? It was green, man. It was green today. Crypto Squirrel Houston asked Fidelity on their live show about max pain and market micro routing to dark pools to control price, and they went silent. Really? There's a Fidelity live stream? I don't even know about that, but yeah, they don't want to answer how the nitty gritty happens at all. PG Houston. If there is a MOAS, top 3 alternate countries to live in with similar or better infrastructure, building codes, sanitation, less crime, better healthcare, transpo, and climate. Man, all right. With MOAS money, you can live like a king probably anywhere. Period. But if it's just retirement money. You want somewhere with good healthcare. So look for anywhere better healthcare than the U.S., which is a lot. It's like 37 other countries. I have seriously thought about Portugal. Basically because cost of living is very cheap. EU passports, free. You can travel pretty easily. I have friends that are tech workers that can work online, and they moved to Kuala Lumpur, and they're living just the life of Riley. They were able to buy a penthouse in a high rise for like $35,000 US, and the HOAs include a spa where you can just go get like daily massages, and they're loving life. I know a lot of people live in Bali and love it. But I think about I had to go to urgent care yesterday because my back was so messed up I could barely move. I don't know why. And they didn't really know why. Having a healthcare system nearby as you age is really important. So while the healthcare system in places like Costa Rica are better than the U.S., if you are living in a remote beach town, you may not have. It might still be hours away from a hospital. So get older, heart attack, stroke, whatever, might be an issue. If you go live on a little island nation, the Caribbean, 9 months a year, it's fantastic. 3 months a year, you're just hoping a hurricane doesn't hit. My friend who lived in St. Croix for most of post high school had everything destroyed. All of her neighbors died. Her pets died. She was like the only survivor in her neighborhood, and she had nothing left and had to move back to Seattle for family support. So some gnarly things can happen, especially as global warming gets bigger and those storms get more powerful and more frequent. Canada for a few months of the year, not too shabby. The cost of living is going to be expensive. Italy, beautiful. Food everywhere is amazing. It's cheap. You can eat a meal in Italy that would cost you $1,000 here for like $100. You're like, whoa, it's the best meal I ever had. And they're like, thank you. While trying to convince me to go to Greece because cost of living in Greece is cheap, and the ski resorts in Greece, the lift tickets are like $10. That's really appealing. I have no idea what skiing is like in Greece or how long the ski season is up in the mountains there, but $10 skiing is very appealing. And I gave you a bunch there. I don't know if that really is what we all want, but you know, look at maps, man. Look at some maps. Start reading some atlases. See where you want to go. JB, Houston, do you think Trump would call you Houston? Yeah, probably. Crap, this chat just reset again. Quit resetting. I want to be able to scroll up. Okay, well, I'm stuck at 4 o'clock. So I'm stuck at 45 minutes behind. That's okay. William Morgan, SEC kicked back MMTLP's S1 requesting more info. Oh, well, that's lame. That's what more info do they want? I mean, they're like, hey, we own oil field. We split off from this company. We own shares. We want to turn private. What more info do they need? Do they need to like list the possible buyer, or what do they want? If you want to become a private company, become a private company, right? I don't know. I don't know what the SEC would want out of them and what more information they want. Sebastian Torres, Houston, hyperinflation, Argentina. Yep, 60% with another 50% incoming this year projected. Crazy seeing how people are surviving hyperinflation. You got hyperinflation there. You got hyperinflation in Turkey as well. It's really, really gnarly. Inflation in Europe is deflating the value of the euro. So the euro finally dropped below the dollar. So now the U.S. dollar is more powerful. And because the U.S. dollars remain pretty powerful, it's kept our inflation numbers lower than other nations that are experiencing the same thing right now. And William Morgan had sent me something today about there's like 60 countries whose currencies could basically devalue so much that they're worthless. That's a lot of nations to have that happen to. And the quickest solution to avoiding a massive devaluing of your currency is just adopt the U.S. dollar as your currency. That's what Zimbabwe did to stop their hyperinflation. You know, by the time they printed like a $50 billion note, that $50 billion note wasn't worth anything, so they printed a $5 trillion note and so on. And eventually they went, the U.S. dollar is our official currency. And that's what they worked with. Liberia uses U.S. dollar. A lot of other countries have co-currencies that'll be tied to the U.S. dollar. So, you know, people talk about, the future, the dollar's not going to be as powerful. Well, if you got 60 currencies that are failing, and your only hope is to adopt a currency that is holding strong compared to those, you're gonna do a U.S. dollar, right, Big Dog? Because you can't do a euro unless you join the eurozone, and the U.S. dollar doesn't really care who makes it their official currency. The United States' biggest export is dollars. That's why we have a trade deficit. Like, China sends us goods, we send them dollars. That's what they import. And that's what we export, is we export our dollars around the world to make sure it's the most powerful currency that everyone uses. Right, Big Dog? And like Russia could try exporting rubles, but like, I don't want your rubles. I want dollars. And so they're going to do that. Is U.S. market open on Monday? Should be, because Labor Day will be the following Monday. Scott Paul, I know some people in warehouse building. What a wild ride they have been on. Not much better than warehouse parties. Interesting aspect of whole warehouse business is the flat roof that doesn't last long under weather condition strain. So buildings that sit collapse fast if not maintained. There's a lot of roof space on those things. If the builders were smart, I'm sure many of them are very smart, but I would definitely pay the extra funds to outfit all those roofs with solar panels. Because that building might as well sit there making money for you while you're waiting for a tenant. Right, Big Dog? Passive income. Keep those buildings afloat. Keep people up on the roof, making sure it's maintained. You agree. Big Dog agrees. Agree to anything as long as he scratches his face. Okay. Got another place to go. We're up north. We are in Europe for this one, so we're not going too far. Are we at one of those weird turrets? Yeah. The little weird man-made islands? Yes. Okay. Gotta go for cool. There's a whole bunch of these World War I port things that were made World War I, World War II, I think. And then somebody made their own nation out of one. Sealand. They're their own independent country. Built out of old British artillery helipad. I'm not sure what these things were. Gunnery. Built by the British National Waters since World War II, 1967. Decommissioned Ruff's Tower has been occupied and claimed as a sovereign state by the family. Associates with Paddy Roy Bates. Bates seized Ruff's Tower from a group of pirate radio broadcasters in 1967 with the intention of setting up his own station there. Sealand was invaded by mercenaries in 1978, but was able to repel the attack. That's crazy. All right. Since 1987, it's been part of British territory. Yeah, these things are wild. There's quite a few of these that are out there. This is the one that's famous for trying to become a sovereign nation. Can we drop a man? Pictures anywhere? Nope. Can't see it from there. Okay. Good spot nonetheless, though. Another one here? Nope, there's King of England. Okay. Scott Paul and some interesting fireproof warehouses outside of Chicago. Box operator, sorry about that, ruining that streak, Houston. Good game, though. Such is life, man. I'm going to get 7 one of these days. It's the switch between daytime and nighttime show that screws me up. So if it had been remained hot, I don't think I would have double introed. Because I've been doing a nighttime show again. Soapbox operator, sorry about ruining the streak, Houston. Good game, though. We have a serious comment now, though. What was your plan to make the U.S. recognize a crypto? It has something to do with the border wall. Yeah, I called it wall bucks. I never got the code written, and I never got the land bought, but I built a website temporarily called Wallbucks to kind of explain the idea. But the idea was, and if we go back to maps here, zoom it out, head down to old Tejas. So we have this big giant river, that the Rio Grande, that borders, it forms a border between Texas and Mexico. While Trump was on his wall building campaign, they were going to build a wall the entire length of the Rio Grande, which was just silly. And all this land here kept getting bought up by various government entities through eminent domain. So a lot of the farms and stuff were getting bought up, and they're buying hundreds of acres at a time so they could bulldoze and make the wall. And my idea was to buy a big chunk of land, one of these farms here, big chunk, couple hundred acres, and then microtize, I don't know if that's the right term, subdivide, something. Basically either subdivide the land into millions and billions of little parcels that are like an inch wide or whatever, or securitize the entire ownership into a crypto coin and then sell that sucker on the crypto market. And if you sell 1 billion of them and the value is 10 cents per coin, you now have a $100 million piece of property. And the U.S. government, through eminent domain laws, they must give you fair market value. If the fair market value for that piece of property is $100 million, they have to give you $100 million for it. So therefore, you have a government-backed cryptocurrency. If the price of that crypto goes from 10 cents to $1, the government now has to give you $1 billion for that land. If the government is making any intimations whatsoever to buy that property, they're going to have to buy it at its fair market value. So your cryptocurrency now is inadvertently backed by the U.S. government. So that was the idea of wall bucks. But now I don't think we're building walls the same way, so it probably wouldn't work. But yeah, it's something that would totally could tie up in the courts for years, because the U.S. government would argue like, well, we're giving a fair market value because other land around here sells for $100,000. Like, no, but right now, little micro piece of this land is trading for, $1 a square inch or whatever. That was my plan. It's kind of a loophole dick move, but yeah. Okay, I'm missing some super chats here. Meow meow. After MOAS, only move to countries that don't have bugs that lay their eggs under your skin so that their babies can eat their way out of you. Good advice. Good advice. Don't get the bot flies. Fellow graduate got bit by a tarantula and died. The Dominican Republic. Eaten by a spider is the worst way to go. Nobody move there. Necrotoxins suck. I don't know. I've never heard of a tarantula have a necrotoxin, but I do know a family member whose coworker sat on a toilet in California and got a brown recluse to the nuts and pretty much lost everything down there. So don't do that either. Check your toilet bowls for brown recluses or black widows or whatever. Don sees your shade him. I don't know how send coordinates. I want to show a former Nike base atop a mountain outside New York City. It's on Cousland Mountain in Nyack, New York. Let's see here. Control C, see if we can get there. Cousland Mountain State Park. Well, State Park. What are you? Is that it? Would that be it? Looks like maybe a water tower. That looks like a really nice house. Got a pool. That's a huge lawn to have to mow. Definitely paying someone to do that. Nike missile silo. Those look like fancy houses. Some more big lawns, but this does look like old military roads there. Maybe these aren't high sales. This might be. Looks like more like military. Which one would it be? Blowvet State Park? Cousland Mountain State Park? It's got to be in here, would be my guess. They look like this could be more military buildings than anything else. Well, it's in there somewhere, man. If anyone can find the exact coordinates, put them in there so Don Caesar Shadem can pass them along. Or you can pass them along for him, I guess. But, like, that's a fancy house. That looks like a water tower to serve this neighborhood. And I just don't see... I mean, it could be in here? That's round. I think it might be in here. Maybe filled in. This looks like it could be where it is. Can we do pictures? We can. There's a picture. Droppy little guy right there. Well, you are, top of the hill. On concrete pad. That tree's just floating. That's got to be it. That must be it. Okay, moving on. Zach D, did you hear about the EU potentially ignoring FTDs starting the first week of September? Will that halt MOAS? Apparently rules can just be changed without repercussions. Someone else mentioned that earlier, and I have not seen an article on it yet, so I have no frame of reference. I mean, if Europe starts ignoring FTDs, that means naked shorting can happen in Europe, which means every stock is now vulnerable pretty much everywhere. Why would Europe want to further destroy the economy the way the U.S. does? It's not healthy for an economy to have entire financial institutions set up specifically to destroy everything. That doesn't help anybody. It helps those institutions, but everyone else suffers. And if you're the EU or the US government or anything else, your focus should be on everybody and not the destructors. The destructors need to be destroyed. And yeah, I'll have to find an article on that one so I can read up on it, see exactly what they mean. Because could it halt MOAS? It certainly wouldn't help it. It will cause, when the shit's the fan later, it's going to cause even more pain for those guys in the end, I think. Hamburger with extra pickles. Houston, I was watching Sky Sports Golf today, and I saw an advert for the Line City in Saudi Arabia. It said it was coming in 2026. Huh. That seems really enthusiastic and optimistic. But, you know, they hire a bunch of dudes from Bangladesh and India and make them build things for them all the time. So, you know, they got the money. If they want to build it, they build it. Lee Meadows, can anyone let me know if the U.S. market is open on Monday? It's a bank holiday here in the U.K. The U.S. market should be open. They'll be open on Monday. It'll be the following Monday is our Labor Day holiday, so it won't be open on the 5th? Yeah, 5th. It'll be closed on the 5th. Miss Missy, Purgatory Chasm, Newport, Rhode Island, my favorite place to picnic. Purgatory Canyon sounds like a... being stuck in Purgatory is awesome. I haven't been to Rhode Island since I was a kid. I have a great aunt and uncle who live there. This Purgatory Canyon. A lot of trees. Purgatory Chasm State Reservation. Is that pictures? Ooh, here we go. That's cool. That's like crack in the ground. That's awesome. I'd eat lunch there. I bet it's nice and cool on a day like this to go in there. Kansas Reservation, 1918. Some slaty rocks. Lots of slaty rocks. That's a cool spot. In the fall, see all the colors. I dig it. I like it, Miss Missy. Matt Noon, did you do student loans for all those degrees? Yeah. I mean, I had some baseball scholarships here and there, but yeah, I had to borrow. I had planned to do my undergraduate degree entirely on scholarship. I got hit by a car, and the medical bills weren't covered by insurance. And 18 years old, I was stuck with over $40,000 in medical bills, and there went any savings I had for college. And I lost my spot on the baseball team because I wasn't able to start school in that year. And to play Division II or higher, you have to be registered in the fall to play baseball. And yeah, I had to bounce around to community colleges for years, and then finally, got back up to being offered partial scholarships to play baseball in places. And but still, a lot of loans in there. MT Houston, what happened to your back? I was sitting, and apparently my back did not like that. Sitting and eating lunch. My back was like, no, we won't stand for this. I decided to pinch a nerve back there. It's definitely inside my spine where it is, and it is, oh, dude, it hurts. Okay. That's us, Minnow Johnson. Houston, if I throw $1,000 at these Hong Kong, China IPOs, is that too risky? And if you can lose it, if you're willing to lose $1,000, I think most of these IPOs, it is the first day is when it goes bonkers. That's what it looks like, and then it just drops after that. And HKD popped at $2,200 and is now like $170. So if they had an options chain, I would have played the options chain like crazy. At $2,200, I would have bought as many puts as I possibly could and would have collected, you know, $200,000 a put. That'd been really nice. Vanilla Gorilla Houston, we have a problem. What's the worst dating site ever? Oh, I think the dating sites that keep popping up that advertise to all the MAGAs, they're like, it's finally a dating site for you, guy who hates women. And I think those dating sites, they're like 97% dudes, and the 3% who aren't dudes are actually like Russian scamsters posing as women. Be my guess. I think those are probably the worst dating sites. It's like going to a nude beach and it's just dudes everywhere. Bitcoin fighting for its life. I've not looked at what Bitcoin is doing at all. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh yeah, it is hitting hard, isn't it? Down to 20,000. Looks like it wants to go to 19. So it's dropped 6% today. Yep. I think hedge funds are facing margin calls. They got to come up with some liquidity, and they are fighting for their life for sure right now. BK, is it true that Appalachians are older than bones? Parts of them are. Bones first formed, what, 600 million years ago? And there are parts of the Appalachians that are a billion years old easy, so yeah. $0.07. Houston, do you think they will do a quick swap arena before Phase 6 if they even find someone to swap with? Can they swap T13s? Anyone know that? I don't know if T13s are swappable. If they are, they definitely will try. The T35s are the ones they normally, those regular FTDs they try to swap on. But the threshold list may make things a little sketchy. So I don't know. I don't know. Someone has the answer, please throw it in there. Happy National Dog Day. What? National Dog Day? Dogs. They're more excited than that. They're just on the floor being floor dogs. Hey, monkey. Monkey butt, come here. Monkey butt, come on. Get up off the floor. I know you don't want to, but come on. I'm the one with the muscle relaxer in me. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Come on, monkey butt. Get up here. Come on. Get up. It's National Dog Day. I am going to ruin your life by making you get up and hang out. There we go. Yeah, that's the stuff. Damn. National Dog Butt Day right there. Woo! She's like, ugh. I hate it. Okay. Kyle Cooper, thought on Trump's indictment content, something for Dems to fumble or a nothing burger. I don't think there's been an indictment yet. I think there's been the affidavit that was what was given as the reason for the warrant search at Mar-a-Lago. I think that's what is get released. So the judge ordered the redacted version to be released. I don't know if that's hasn't come out yet. But the way Trump was freaking out on Truth Social yesterday, I think he's in trouble. I think he knows it. He's desperate. And I don't know if you guys saw, but DWAC, Truth Social, hasn't been paying any of their vendors, and they are underwater on debts owed. So did DWAC crash today? I forgot to look at that too. Wait, unlock. Go back to DWAC. DWAC? Where are you, DWAC? Yeah, DWAC was down 7% today as a result. So at one point it was down almost 9.5%. Oh man, that would have been nice to get some puts on DWAC with that news. But I think Truth Social's going down. I think Trump's going down. Fritz Flappier's Casey Shaw says the 90 days don't apply. I don't know what Casey Shaw is. And in Rolex, see Julian Robertson, the inventor of modern-day hedge funds and short selling, just died. Well, I mean, if that isn't a portents for the future, I don't know what is. Guitar stuff. I too watched Star Trek and slept during COVID. It's a solid plan. You got COVID, you can't leave your room. Watch some Star Trek and sleep. That's pretty much what the dogs and I did. We all got fat and lazy and slept for all week. BOFH Houston. What do you think will happen once millennials and Gen Z wind up in charge? Do you think more of the same business as usual, or will we see complete overhaul of government? I'm leaning towards a complete overhaul. The system has basically shit on the younger generations who are, let's face it, the most educated generations in the U.S. history. And there's a lot of us. And, you know, when the boomers die out, they're going to take with them a certain weird selfishness that formed in the 80s that I think would feel really foreign to anyone born after that time. And I think we're seeing a growth in unions as a result of this mentality. We're seeing these younger generations run for office, and while they might not have the power now, they're such a thorn in the side of those with the power that those folks have been like having to move and accommodate their demands. So, you know, we saw pretty much all the Democratic candidates run on forgiving student loans in 2020. And we got some of it into the way. Even though Joe Biden said he was going to forgive all of them, he got some done. We'll probably see pushes to fix the healthcare system, either to nationalize it or to create some sort of universal system. Here in Washington, something like 70% of the hospitals are controlled by the Catholic Church, and yet we are the most atheistic state in the country. Like, more than a third of the population does not have a religious affiliation whatsoever. So why is the church able to buy up so many hospitals that had no religious connections before and now have essentially a monopoly on the market? It's pretty crazy, you know, how fast Franciscan has bought up all the hospitals in just a couple of years. And they do weird things too. Like, they're supposed to be a not-profit Judeo-Christian Catholic organization, but like they spent a bunch of money and built this very expensive urgent care here in my community. And then people, you know, the emergency, they go to the urgent care. They went to urgent care, and then they got emergency department prices. And because, you know, they had certain emergency department prices, not urgent care prices, the health insurance companies refused to pay. People got stuck, and they stopped going to that urgent care. So within 6 months of that urgent care being built, it wasn't being used anymore. And Franciscan went, well, we're just going to close the urgent care because you guys aren't using it. They were. It's just that you were charging emergency department prices and not urgent care prices, and the insurance companies weren't covering anything, so people couldn't go to that urgent care anymore. And so now it's just sitting empty, and I guess they're going to try to turn it into a new police station or something. But, like, I don't know. It's weird business practices by a bunch of friars, and it's weird. Just give people health care. Everyone needs it. They need it. Every person needs to go to the doctor at some point in their life. Just make the system work. That's all I'm asking. Mass Spectrometer reminds me of the volcano movie with 007, Dante's Peak. That was actually a pretty solid movie as far as how events would unfold during a volcanic eruption. You know, not perfect, but you know, for a Hollywood movie, they did a good job. Misty thunder on top of lightning here in southeastern Massachusetts. It's loud. You guys are getting the storms that probably were just destroying Texas a couple of days ago. Are now hitting you guys. Neapolitan space cream. Can you imagine getting a human tektite? So if you guys know what tektites are, when a big meteor goes smack into the Earth, and all this splattered material that like hyper melts and then splatters out back into space, freezes and falls back to Earth. Those are tektites. So you can, in certain places where there's been big meteor impacts, you can find some of them. Some of them are kind of cool. They're like weird glassy rocks. Others hit like the Moldavite in Czech Republic, around Bohemia and stuff. There's this cool green glass that was formed in the sands that quickly flash melted and then froze again and went to space. Like, you know, being erupted in the eruption of a volcano, supervolcano like Naples could potentially launch things into, you know, low Earth orbit. Can you imagine like a melted human being freezing in space, then raining back down to Earth, and then somebody like putting that in a museum later? That'd be wild. Just a margarita pizza flying up into space, getting fully cooked on the way up and the way down. XX XX. What do you think happens this Wednesday when they have the BBBY conference call? If I were to get out my crystal ball, I say, looking into that crystal ball, staring into it, I say they announce that they've either sold Baby to Ryan Cohen, or they've given him a majority chunk of it and are spinning it off as a subsidiary that will be traded as well. That's my guess. And that they will announce that they paid off a whole bunch of debts and are able to restructure and make sure their vendors get them product for the fall lines and all that stuff. I think it's going to be good news that comes out on the 31st. Cubs greetings from Revlon, 6 beers in, still patiently waiting for squeeze. Oh, my spine. I gotta adjust myself. Oh, I just feel like if I could like reach inside through my gut and just like poke my spinal column, it would just go click, and then everything will be great. That's what it feels like. Vanilla Gorilla, would you invest in HYMC knowing geology? No. I talked about this last show. Like, they need to answer the question, how are they going to get this gold out of the sulfides? It's a big deal. If you got $18 billion in gold trapped in sulfides, well, you have to spend $1 billion of that just to build a plant that can handle that ore. And they don't have any, there's nothing being built. Their facility they have now is definitely not large enough to process that material, especially in those volumes. It might be a squeeze play. They may get lucky with this drilling operation they're doing, and they may find a whole bunch of high-grade ore that they didn't count on before, but not really, no. Where was that? That was looking for... Where were you? There it is. Okay, volcano movie. There's Cubus. Nader, baked potato. I found a basketball-sized rock in a stream behind my house. Basalt and zoisite maybe. It looks full of little gems. What should I do with it? How do I get the gems out? Painstakingly. There are certain ways you can do it. You can sometimes just smash the rock and a whole bunch of gems will pop out when you smash it. Otherwise, you have to, get like a Dremel tool. You can carve around them. You have little ones. For the most part, like the big operations, they do like slow hydraulic press and the rock goes and just explodes into a lot of little pieces. And then from there, they have X-ray machines and stuff that like look at where the gemstones are, so they can filter through all those things. That's kind of how they do. Like with gold, they just grind it into a powder because you don't care if it maintains large pieces. You just grind it into a powder and you run that through. But with gemstones, you have to sort of break the matrix of the rock itself until you get more exposed gems. Projet's Sun, Edge of the World. Sure about that? Sure it's Edge of the World? Oh, got ourselves a volcanic dike, it looks like. Looks like a dike system. Where did that lead to? Or is that a cliff system? That's not. That's escarpment. That's not a dike. That's an escarpment. I was fooled by the shadows. So here you're at 7,000 feet. Oh, no, sorry. Here you're at 3,000 feet. Down here you're at 2,600. So it's like a 500-foot escarpment. 3,000, 2,600. Huh. That's good escarpment. Is it run? So it runs this length of the valley. So that's the side that dropped down. And there's a big washes through here. Big wadis. Al-Baraha. The Arabian Desert looks like it'd be pretty cool to go driving through. On a bucket list, go drive the Arabian Desert. Mass spectrometer, what kind of money with that kind of money, just import a doctor and be the village benefactor. Yeah, why not? You are the doctor, you're going to live in my town, and here's your house, and enjoy it. David Morgan, anyone have any guess what kind of drama will manufacture this weekend? Well, we get bored on the weekends, don't we? So my guess is, what kind of drama? I don't even know. My tranquilized brain cannot think of it right now. David Morgan's moving to Scandinavia. Patrick Anderson living in Sweden right now, so he doesn't move anywhere. No Dave's allowed in Scandinavia. You have to be David's son, I think, if you're going to move there. SS Minnow Johnson, I feel like living in cheap foreign countries, all like living in cheap flyover parts of this country. It's inexpensive but isolating and not relevant in the world. Well, there's a lot of cool places that have a lot more to look at than like cornfields. I mean, if you can go to a tropical or semi-tropical beach, then I don't mind being alone. Oh, the Best Boys and Girls adult dating site was here. Oh, I missed them. Jason Blackwell says, "Hot boys and girls, we missed you." Greg Mathis, hi Houston. I'm getting the impression that the whole markets are being suppressed for it all to go boom at the same time, or for these crooked rules the SEC are proposing to come into effect. I think the SEC is going to find out that the more they prolong this, the worse it will get. And that's kind of, and they're stuck. They're like, well, just prolong a little longer. And it's like trying to shove one more thing into that closet, and eventually the door's going to bust open. It's all going to fall on your head like a sitcom. And, there's only so much you can do, man. Only so much you can do. Project Sun, Houston, you really should read The First 5,000 Years. It's really up your alley. You won't regret it. Not the first time it's been recommended. I do need. I finally got my Ghost of the Adobe Walls. It was recommended to me by a viewer. It's the ghost towns of Arizona. It's like 400 of them in here. So I'm very excited to see which ones that I've managed to look at on Google Earth line up in here and see what I missed. Guitar stuff. Another. I like to go really far north with yours. Their guitar stuff. Iceland? This is Geyser? This is where we are? Pinglivier. Looks like a crack. We get ourselves a crack. I'm gonna throw a little dude down there. Got a basalt wall. A wall of basalt. Wall salt. A little bit's columnar, so some of it had some slow cooling. There's some columnar basalt there. That is flow after flow after flow. How many flows you got here? Got at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, 8, 9, 10. Big one, 11, 12. At least 13 flows represented in that wall there. That's impressive. Now it's just dirt road going between them all. I dig it. I dig it. Dark Helmet. I am Dark Helmet. Where are you taking us? Somewhere southeast? Oh. The Keys. We are at, what's this? Dry Tortugas National Park. We got, so it was a gun battery. Fort Jefferson, Florida. Garden Key Lighthouse. Unincorporated community, ghost town in Monroe County, Florida, is located in Garden Key, lower 48, 7 miles west of Key West. Fort Jefferson is a massive but unfinished coastal fortress. Its largest masonry structure it is the largest masonry structure in the Western Hemisphere. 16 million bricks. Oh, that's impressive. Okay. That's a lot of bricks. So they probably had gun battlements all along here, or the idea was that gun battlements all along there. It's a lot of bricks to import to somewhere like this. There it is off the Keys. There's the United States. A lap pool. Looks like a fish pond. That's cool. Let's go visit this place. It's humid there. Huh. Samuel Mudd, as he appeared as a federal prisoner while working in the carpenter shop in the military prison in Fort Jefferson, 1866-67. That's post Civil War. So when did it start being built? So they wanted to start building it in 1846. Huh. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay. That's a good spot, Dark Helmet. I dig it. I dig it. I did not know about this place. And it is basically as far west in the Keys you can get. There's one little key. It's out here. Huh. Yeah. Interesting. Kinky, tar and feathers, and adult dating. Don't use your shade. I'm sorry, Houston. I need to learn how to grab coordinates. I'll show you. I'll show you how to do it. Let's. I'm on Google Earth right now. You can't. There's up in the left corner, which you actually can't see because. There we go. If I Alt, I can. Wait, oh, there we go. Okay. So you see the bar here? There's a little pin this little pin right here. So you click the pin, you can drop the pin anywhere, such as here, and this box opens up. Come here. This box opens up. Well, you guys can't see the box, but a little box opens up that's right here, a new window, and it's got the latitude and longitude listed in it, and you cannot see it. I wonder if I can make you see that. It's going to take a while to get that to happen. But a little box opens up when you click on it, and it will have the latitude and longitude, and you can just copy and paste those. You just highlight them and copy and paste them. But it's all about making that little pin, and that's how you can get coordinates really easily. Okay, before I forget, click back on you. There we go. Okay. JB, Houston, what are the repercussions from AMC's 25% collateral haircut due to closing under $10? I think it means it takes 25% more collateral to short it, and it reduces the weight of AMC as a stock, as a long, to count towards as collateral towards margin. I might be paraphrasing that wrong, but that's my understanding. Jason, can you explain phase 6 like I'm a 5-year-old? That's basically the level I understand it, so it's okay. You got the derivatives market. You've got all these like crazy debt swaps, equity swaps, options, futures, all sorts of weird bonds and things that are traded on the derivatives market. And the ISDA is sort of the system that regulates international banking for the banking system that we are in, Europe is in, most of the world is in. And in order to protect their members from shady individuals similar to like Archegos, they want collateral put up to make any trades in these derivatives. Archegos was able to use the same $800 million for massive margin loans from 5 different banks. And those 5 banks had no idea that they'd use that same collateral for each bank 5 times. And so when they went under and they got margin called, it lost every single solitary one of these banks billions of dollars. So much so that like Credit Suisse may collapse as a result of the bad shorts they collected off of Archegos. So the ISDA is phasing in slowly. Phase 1 was for institutions that trade $3 trillion or more in derivatives that post a bunch of margin. There's only like 5 of those players in the world that do that. So it's pretty easy for them to like, okay, we'll just get a bunch more cash and we'll have that as our margin collateral or whatever. Buy a bunch more bonds. And then it worked its way down. Phase 5 was $50 billion a year in the derivative trades, which Archegos still would not hit under. Archegos is at $30 billion a year. And Phase 6 is $8 billion a year, which covers most major family funds and pretty much every hedge fund that exists. So now these groups will have to post a bunch of collateral in order to be allowed to do any trades in the derivatives market, period. And if they don't post that collateral, they'll be blacklisted until they do. And if someone does a trade with one of these groups that did not meet the capital or margin requirements, they will be blacklisted. So it's a way of killing these folks off unless they obey by the rules. And it's international law. It's outside of FINRA and the FTC and SEC and all those folks. This is international. So you're not going to be able to make any of these trades using their banking system unless you post the collateral on these things. And that is going to put a damper on a bunch. In the information they released talking about Phase 6 coming up, one of the things they mentioned was how brutal it was getting institutions and funds that do $50 billion a year or more in these trades to actually adhere to it. And the consequences, I guess, were just brutal for them September last year. But this year, the bulk, we're talking like 800 or so of these funds, plus another 5,000 of institutions they trade with might be affected by it. And because liquidity is so hard to come by, and the value of stocks seem to be just crashing, my guess is a bunch of these funds won't be able to meet the requirements it takes to do these trades. And a lot of the swap market which has been protecting these folks from their failures to deliver, because they get to that T35 date when they're going to be forced to like close their positions, they swap with somebody else, and then it resets that 35-day clock. And so they do this like massive swap trading all year long, sort of resetting those clocks. And now a lot of those groups may not be allowed to do those trades. So that'd be awesome. That means they're going to be stuck. They're going to be seeing their assets get sold, and they're going to be forced to buy up our shares for a lot of money. James Danker, Houston, that person, bit by a brown recluse in the family jewel region. Did someone do a medical paper on that? Because I would love to read about it. I'm sure if there is one, I'm sure it's probably easy to find. I can't remember if it was on his ding dong or his ball sack, but management of the brown recluse spider bite and gland's penis. This is 1996, so it would have been around that time, because it was abstract. A significant number of people are bitten by brown recluse spiders each year. Medical treatment regimens sometimes on set. Oh, you guys can't see this. Google Chrome, you're on. Bam. Google Earth, you are off. Okay. So this is active duty U.S. Army guy. So this is a different person. 19-year-old active duty U.S. Army soldier who suffered a brown recluse bite to the wiener. The patient received immediate medical attention and was started on intravenous administration of diphenhydramine, methylprednisolone, so steroids, calcium gluconate, and famotidine. Oral treatment was begun. Within 24 hours of injury, the patient received his first hyperbaric oxygen treatment. Also get put into the hyperbaric tube. Continued twice daily for 5 days. Skin necrosis was avoided. Boom. Patient did not require any surgical intervention. He was discharged after 8 days without sequelae. Okay, that's not that one, because the guy was definitely not 2022. Oh, you got man 22. It's 2015. So this is after that. Oh, go away. Oh, this is the Catapo spider. So this is New Zealand. That is not the same spider. Unluckiest man in Australia bitten penis by spider twice. Apparently it happens. I think people sit down in a toilet and that's that. Huh. Well, I'm sure there's a paper. If there's a paper out there for it, I'm sure you'll be able to find a necrotized ding dong or sack if you really want to see one there, James. All right, JB. JB, where are you taking me? What? Oh, that's because it says long. I need to get the long out of there. Slap. Hell, Michigan. Oh, this is the town bought by that YouTuber guy. What's his name? I follow him on Twitter because he's kind of funny. He bought Hell and he renamed it Gay Hell. He bought the entire town. And so it's now called Gay Hell, Michigan. But yeah, it's owned by, this will tell me. Unincorporated community, Livingston County, U.S. State of Michigan's unincorporated community. Hell has no defined boundaries, population statistics of its own. History. Reeves family sold land in 24. Let's talk about the most recent buyer. How come this isn't updated with the dude who bought the whole town? Gregory was asked what he thought the town that he helped settle should be called, and replied, "I don't care. You can name it Hell for all I care." So that's how it got named. All right. Yeah. What's that dude's name? I can't remember. If anyone remembers, please throw it in there. Oh, so many coordinates. So many. You guys are making my Friday. I love the coordinates. Out in the desert. Out in... the heck? Krakum Desert. Was this the methane fire that's been burning for years? Oh, black sand. Desert occupies about 7% of the area. Turkmenistan, population sparse. Nope. I think this is the pit of hell, isn't it? This the big methane craters that blew up. It's been burning for a long time. I think it would have its own Wikipedia article. But it's a big desert. That is a very big desert. It's a lot of desert there, Turkmenistan. William Morgan is a bot. He's curious if he wants to know what must relax on. Cycloprednisone? Cyclobenzaprine. I think that's it. I think it starts with a C. I don't remember. Little orange guys. They'll take one every 4 hours or so, which means in about an hour I gotta take another one. Lee Meadows, Houston, how difficult would it be to get claims Upper Yukon and Alaska and set up a decent placer mine? And how much do you think it would cost to set up? Difficult. Not very difficult to set up a claim. How difficult would it be to set up a decent placer mine? A lot. Looking at, I mean, if you're gonna set up a claim up there, you're gonna be going for big money, not just like summer panning for stuff. So you're gonna need probably get a couple big excavators, big Komatsus or John Deeres or whatever. So a couple $100,000 for those. You're gonna need a rock truck, a couple $100,000 for those. A big Volvo. You're gonna need a classifying system, so you're gonna need a trommel, possibly a ball mill. So a big trommel like that, you can probably get a decent one for $100,000. You're not gonna want to use one; those things get beat to hell. So you want a new one with a warranty. Then a big mill that can run, several tons an hour. Probably run you another couple $100,000. My guess is minimum setup. If you're buying stuff new, $1.5 million. If you're buying it used, maybe $500,000 on the low end to $1 million, plus a lot of repairs. Another couple $100,000 in repairs and new parts and things. And then you got to be able to run it. You can only run it for about 4 or 5 months a year. And you want to do that 24 hours a day. So you need people up there either getting paid hourly or getting a cut of the gold that's coming through. And you're looking at probably $50,000 to $100,000 per employee for those 4 or 5 months. It's a big operation to set up something like that. And it's just miserable. It's wet. You don't sleep well because the sun never goes down. You're in tents and campers and, making sure you have good enough food to eat. It'd suck. It'd absolutely suck. There's better places to get better gold and easier locations than Alaska or the Yukon. There are lots of them. Steven Siebert, people can't hold forever when prices of everything is going up. When are these people going to get margin called? Indeed. I think I think William Morgan's right, after midterms. Quit resetting. It's all right. Okay. So, Oh my gosh. Houston Way Junior inversion table for Houston, not medical advice, not a medical advisor. Oh, it's really sore down there. It is better than yesterday though. I seriously went to the urgent care because I was like shaking and a tear squirted out when I tried to walk down a hill. I was like, I can't do this. They gave me a huge shot of some like super ibuprofen in my butt, and the lady's like, it'll hurt a bit when you feel the fluid go in, and I let out this like you when it went in, and she was like, I've never heard that sound before. Yeah, man, getting old sucks. Tyler English remembers what hydrostatic equilibrium is. There you go. You're now an astronomer. Okay. Mass spectrometer. I've had lower back problems from years ago. Laying flat with alternating heat and cold for an hour or so helps. That's a good idea. I actually meant to get a cold pack before I sat down here, and I forgot to do that. They recommended cold over heat because just in case the warmness makes blood vessels expand and then compresses more. They said the cold might be better, but man. Tar Stuff Houston says, I always go far north. Challenge accepted. Next live stream, only Southern Hemisphere or equator. All right. Deal. Tyler English has got a spot where he used to go as a kid, somewhere in the west. Was it Southern Oregon? 116? Maybe Idaho? Where is this? Where are we? A little town. Silver City, Idaho. Oh, it's a little ghost town here. Yeah. I've been through Silver City. Big mine right there. This is Jordan Valley. So then we've got... Yeah, come down here. This is the Wahi River, which, if you guys read my account of almost dying, the day before I almost died also, out here in the desert by the Wahi. One of the coolest places you'll ever go is... Alright, where are we? We got... Termit. It's here, isn't it? Oh, not that valley. Not that valley. Not that valley. Not that valley. Where are you? Where are you, crazy valley? You have to go into Idaho and then come back in to Oregon for... Come on, Sarnet, where are you? Maybe it's this valley. I don't see the graveyard. Where's the graveyard? Lake Oahe. Where's Lake Oahe? Sorry, I'm getting lost here. Oh, up here. That's where we're looking. Right? That's gotta be Lake Oahe. So here is... Give me a label for the park. Oh my gosh, where are you? Make me... Wahi Reservoir. So it should be on the Wahi Reservoir. There's a ghost town that has a graveyard. It's uphill. The town got filled in by the lake. And the graveyard's still there. Maybe if I turn on these things. Did I not mark it? Oh, this is Dana, Oregon. Not there. I swear to God, it was up here. There's a state park in here that's some of the coolest rock outcrops I've ever seen in my life. I think it's in this area, but that doesn't help anybody. That's whatever. We have to like go into Idaho and then back into Oregon to get there. and it's along the Oahe, and I don't remember where. Grr, 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 grr. Anyway, it's called like Linda Canyon or some lady's name. Okay. Could why does Nazaré, Portugal, have such high waves? Is it high winds? That's the place in the Azores, right? Nazaré, Portugal. If I remember correctly, I think it's Azores. No, this is mainland Portugal, not Azores. Azores are yonder, and they do get monster waves. But these guys probably get giant waves simply because of the direction they face. So when the nor'easters form in the wintertime, so out here we've got just huge storms can form. You can get cyclones that turn into post-tropical cyclones as they head north. And so it's just a spot where these big winter storms can pump a bunch of waves. So it's not the wind itself in this area, it's the wind that's generated out in the open ocean that makes for the huge waves. Same thing for like big wave surfing in Hawaii. You got the north shore of Oahu and Jaws on Maui. It's when the big storms form in the wintertime up here in the Gulf of Alaska. And these storms will have eyes like hurricanes, will have low pressure systems that make hurricanes look like little pansies. And they generate 60-foot waves that just will pump straight from the north and absolutely hammer this area. And then vice versa, in Tahiti, you'll get huge cyclones and storms forming down here that pump, and you'll get places like Chopo will get massive waves. And like Bell's Beach, same thing. Cyclones form, big waves hit. So it's storms far away that usually make for the biggest waves. Okay, did my 2 hours. I'm tired. My back hurts. It's been a while since I did a Twitch stream, since I got to sit a lot this weekend to help my back. We'll probably do a Twitch stream, do some GeoGuessr. So, sound cool? Sounds cool to me. Catch you guys, if not on Twitch this weekend, I'll catch you Monday. Right? Cool. Enjoy yourselves. And take one of these.